Welcome! Ever wonder what happens when someone breaks a summary offense, which is a less serious crime? It happens to the best of us. Youth, adults, or anyone can make mistakes. If you're a youth ages 12 to 18 and find yourself in trouble, we want you to know your options to potentially make amends and have your charges dropped. Court can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. These moccasins are cozy. What are extrajudicial sanctions? If you are a youth up to age 18 and you commit a summary offense, you can be referred to extrajudicial sanctions if the court feels it's appropriate for you. Taking part in extrajudicial sanctions means you consent that the issue will be handled outside of court. You will commit to repair the harm you have done by following through on the sanctions set by the program.
It is part of a greater thing called extrajudicial measures. It's in the Youth Criminal Justice Act. EJS, as we say for short, is one portion of that. And that's when the young person who's been arrested, they've been given a court date, and they appear before court. A Crown prosecutor will screen that and determine whether the young person should go into a program called EJS. And the purpose of that program is to allow young people to make an amends for their wrongdoings, and then in turn the charge gets withdrawn. So how does youth become involved with extrajudicial sanctions is when they get arrested and charged. It would be a process in which they're not given a warning by the police in the first instance. Instead, they're sent to court to deal with the matter. And then the Crown prosecutor may determine that whatever crime that they had committed may be suitable for this program called extrajudicial sanctions.
If you want to take part in the extrajudicial sanctions process, you will have to admit to the crime and take responsibility for your actions. This also means that you actually did the crime. If you didn't do the crime, the extrajudicial sanctions process isn't right for you, and you'll be sent back to prove to the court that you are not guilty. But what are summary offense, and how can you repair the harm to your community?
Okay, so summary conviction offenses, there's only a very small amount that are strictly summary conviction. %90 of the crimes that are in the criminal code are called hybrid. So typically the cases that come before the court are these hybrid offenses like common assault or shoplifting or mischief.
If you are charged with a summary offense, you are given a court date. If you admit guilt, you can ask any one of the people representing you if extrajudicial sanctions is an option for you.
This young person has been charged of stealing Kokum's scooter and her favorite pair of moccasins. How does the youth plead?
My client admits guilt, Your Honor.
I see you have applied for extrajudicial sanctions.
Yes, Your Honor. This is their first offense, and we feel it is in their best interest to complete the extrajudicial program to make amends for their actions.
Agreed.
Now that the youth has confessed to the crime, they are referred to an extrajudicial sanctions program to complete their sanction. Having a support system can help you. People such as family, friends, elders, and lawyers, and advocates.
Can I get those back?
My name is Carolyn Cush-Niemanen. I'm a coordinator at the Edmonton Youth Justice Committee Society.
So my name's Ashley, and I am the program coordinator for the Youth Restorative Action Project.
The youth is charged with by the police, and this is youth 12 to 17 years old, and they go to court. They have a court date, and in the court date, the Crown decides whether they can come to the extrajudicial sanction program, and we are a program that they refer the files to us.
The file will be assigned to one of our file coordinators. Once we get a hold of the youth, then we just say, hey, this is voluntary. We really want to help you get your charges dropped. You want to participate? And then they'll say yes, no. After that, we talk to them about their comfortability at the end of this meeting of when they're ready to participate in either a circle process or a panel process.
The youth come to our program and we do restorative justice circles. So at that time, we contact the youth, the guardian, the supports that they want to come to the circle with them, as well as a harm person. We invite them to the circle.
And then we'll talk about the charge a bit, what has happened, and then we come up with 3, they're called sanctions, but we like to tell the youth it's more like a goal, because sanctions can be quite an intimidating word. So we're like, what are 3 goals that are going to help you? So usually we do repairing harm to themselves, repairing harm to the community, and repairing harm to the victim.
Well, welcome everyone to the circle. Of course, we'll discuss the reason for the circle being called, and everyone will have a chance to talk, share, and be heard. I have this rock. We'll pass it around until everybody has gotten the chance to share, and then the rock comes back to me.
You can call me Kokum. I have a hard time getting around in my old age, but my scooter helps me get around to my favorite places like bingo.
Bingo!
Going to the library to read. Sewing and making things like my favorite pair of moccasins. I made them last year at the senior center. Stitched every bead myself, and I think they turned out real fancy. I was sad when I looked into my backyard to see that my scooter's gone. I told myself that my scooter can be replaced, but my moccasins can't.
Every circle is unique. Every youth is unique. During the circle, they all talk about and they have to agree to the sanctions, which are what are given. Usually there's 3 given. They sign a legal contract at the end of the circle, and the youth are then followed by a follow-up member of the Edmonton Youth Justice, and they help them, support them through to do complete the sanctions.
Our file coordinators follow our youth quite closely. They're reaching out multiple times a week asking, hey, do we need to meet up?
In that time, there might be other referrals or programs or supports that they need, and we provide that to them. Maybe they are interested in youth programs or counseling or anything else that comes up even beside the sanctions.
It's really up to their comfortability and whatever they need. Like, we've had kids, we've helped them get bus passes, like cell phones, all those kinds of things, because those are really big barriers that we've been finding.
As long as they've taken responsibility, that's really the initial thing about why they come to our program.
I'm sorry, Kokum. I took your scooter. I was heading down the street and there it was, right there. It seemed so small and easy.
I attempted to jump the curb.
That was a mistake. I didn't make it. Crashed.
We usually have a file for about 3 months, and so they have about, by the time they come to the circle, it's usually around 2.5 months, so they have to complete the program.
We can send in extension requests if, like, there's something going on, like if a family member passes, life circumstances, something like that. We'll just email the court and say, hey, like, can we get an extra 2 or 3 weeks?
If they complete the sanctions, they don't have to go to the court date and they don't receive a criminal record.
I saw the moccasins fly out and I grabbed them and ran. I can't fix your scooter, but I can return these. I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken your scooter or your moccasins.
With youth in our program, if they don't finish, we do have to mark the file as unsuccessful. But typically what we do is we write a letter to the court saying that, you know, we've lost contact or whatever the circumstances are, and that we would love to take them back. Like, please re-refer them if this youth is open, because sometimes, again, they move. I don't know where they are. They've broken their cell phone. So we always really give them, like, that benefit of the doubt that we'll take them back in a heartbeat. And we've had actually a couple youth that, like, we've kind of lost contact with, and then the Crown has been able to put us back in contact with, and they've been successful, so.
And if they don't complete that and there's no other program referred to them, then it's up to the Crown and the courts what they're going to have to do in terms of completing the program or doing sanctions. At that time, they might have a criminal record.
Not all programs use a circle process. Some have a panel or community advocates. There are many ways to take responsibility for your actions. Ask questions if you don't understand. Everyone wants you to succeed and complete the program, so do your best to follow through and keep in communication. Once you have completed your sanctions, the program informs the court. As a youth, if you successfully complete your sanctions, you will not have a record. Record of participation in the program will remain available for 2 years, and through this process, hopefully you will have learned from your mistakes. Participating in the extrajudicial sanctions will help you avoid jail time, but multiple criminal offenses will be treated more seriously. Now, let's go volunteer at the senior center. I heard they started a fundraiser to get Kokum a new scooter.